Hello, good evening. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to India Fact Quizzes Game of Facts. हर Saturday की तरह आज हम दोबारा मिल रहे हैं, but I think we're seeing each other after a very long time. We have the double rounds of quizzing today for you. I know कि पिछले 1-1.5 महीने से हम हिंदी quiz नहीं कर पाए हैं, but today we have the Hindi quiz and we also have the English quiz with an amazing book which we'll tell you about very soon. But उससे पहले I know I think the last month has been really special for all of us at India Fact Quiz because we've had some amazing authors, some amazing guest speakers come on board and उन्होंने आपके साथ interact किया है और quiz खेला है and you've got their amazing books that they've written. जिनको अभी तक अपनी books नहीं मिली हैं जल्द ही मिल जाएंगी. But I think this past 1 month has been a roller coaster for us as well. But we'll keep showing our faces to you in between every now and then. And today we have Rashmi also, who will join us who will take you through the English quiz. And I'll just request you to stay till the end because this book that we are giving today, it's called A Village Awaits Doomsday by Jaideep Hardikar. और इसका ही हिंदी जो एडिशन है यहाँ एक गांव था वो आपको हिंदी क्विज में मिलेगी. तो एक ही किताब है लेकिन उसके 2 एडिशंस हैं. जो हिंदी एडिशन है वो हम हिंदी क्विज में देंगे और जो इंग्लिश एडिशन है जो ओरिजिनल बुक है वो आपको इंग्लिश क्विज में आज आप जीत सकते हैं. So what is this book about? I'll just tell you very briefly because obviously I want you to read the book and give us your feedback as to how you feel, how important this book is, because personally I felt like there's a lot that this book tells us because it talks about the development that's going around और उसकी वजह से जो ordinary people हैं how are they getting influenced, impacted, उन पर क्या असर पड़ रहा है. So it's all about that. हर रोज ऐसे millions of people are there who are displaced by developmental schemes. और ये स्कीम्स जैसे कि मॉल्स बन रहे हैं, फैक्ट्रीज बन रही हैं, एग्रीकल्चर के लिए लैंड को हटाया जा रहा है, जो भी हमारे मैन मेड नीड्स हैं फॉर माइनिंग, फॉर वेरियस अदर पर्पसेस. This land that people are staying on is actually used for construction purposes. और उसकी वजह से जो इन ऑर्डिनरी जो देश के लोग हैं उन पर क्या असर पड़ता है, उनकी क्या स्टोरी है, ये किताब उसके बारे में है. So this book is about the personal stories of ordinary people across the country who are displaced due to these government and private initiatives. और इस बुक में ये एनालाइज किया है कि why people protest and what are the laws that the government uses to displace these people, what are the rehabilitation and resettlement processes, land acquisition की जो processes है, procedures है, वो क्या है. So all of this is included in this book. It's a wholesome book and the 6 of you who get to read it, I think you're going to love it. जो Game of Facts का कोड है वो आपको चैट बॉक्स में दिया जा रहा है. It's 5054064040 और ये हिंदी क्विज का गेम पिन है. इसके बाद हम आपको इंग्लिश क्विज का गेम पिन देंगे बाय द एंड ऑफ द हिंदी क्विज. सो इट्स गोइंग टू बी वेरी क्विक. आप जानते हैं सिर्फ 10 क्वेश्चंस होते हैं हमारे पास, कुछ 2-3 पोल क्वेश्चंस होते हैं और जल्दी से जल्दी हम गेम शुरू करेंगे. For those of you who've joined us new today, it's really simple. You have to use 2 devices or you can do it on 1 device as well, but थोड़ा difficult हो जाता है. But if you have 2 devices, nothing better. एक डिवाइस पे आप जूम स्क्रीन देख सकते हैं और दूसरी डिवाइस पे आप Kahoot पर लॉग इन करेंगे, kahoot.it, and after you enter the game pin, जो चैट बॉक्स में आपको गेम पिन दिया जा रहा है, once you enter that game pin, you'll have to enter your name and email ID, and within a few minutes I'll just start the game and you'll be all in to play and win the quiz as well. Some really interesting facts. कल वर्ल्ड एनवायरनमेंट डे है तो उसी के बेसिस पे हिंदी क्विज themed है. English quiz different है, which I think Rashmi will talk about. So stay till the end. Once more I'm telling you, and I'll just begin by screen sharing now. Okay, so here we are. Welcome to all of you. अगर कोई भी और है जो जल्दी से जल्दी ज्वाइन करना चाहता है, I request you to put in the game pin soon First few questions are poll questions, as I told you. Very simple rules. You just have to answer what you think is the correct answer. In fact, actually, you have to test your biases. So what you think is the correct answer might not be the correct answer. So go against that. That is the biggest hint I can give you. Or जो fastest और correct answer करेगा उसे सबसे ज़्यादा points मिलेंगे. And we'll see the scoreboard after every question. So let's get into it. Let's start with our first poll question while we have more people joining in. And once again, I'm reminding you, stay till the end. We have another quiz right after this one, which is the English quiz and the English edition of Yahan Ek Gaon Tha, which is called A Village Awaits Doomsday by Jaideep Hardikar. Okay, so this is Hindi quiz week 7. और आज के हमारे पोल क्वेश्चंस के साथ हम स्टार्ट करते हैं. जैसा कि हम जानते हैं, देयर इज नो जजमेंट, सो व्हाटएवर यू फील लाइक आंसरिंग, जस्ट आंसर. एंड इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस, कुछ भी आपको डाउट्स होंगे, आप चैट बॉक्स में डाल दीजिएगा. द टीम विल हेल्प यू सॉल्व योर डाउट्स. एंड जो क्वेश्चंस की सोर्सेज हैं, वो एज एंड व्हेन क्वेश्चंस जैसे जैसे आएंगे, हम आपको क्वेश्चंस की सोर्स भी चैट बॉक्स में भेजते रहेंगे. सो लेट्स बिगिन विद आवर फर्स्ट पोल क्वेश्चन. क्या आप ऑनलाइन मीटिंग अटेंड करते समय मल्टीटास्क करते हैं? कभी कभी हाँ, मैं इसमें बहुत प्रो हूँ. नहीं, मैं 100% फोकस्ड रहता हूँ. आप बहुत फोकस्ड रहता हो, मल्टीटास्क नहीं करते, और मेरा मन भटकने लगता है. सो विच इज यू? ओके, 14 ऑफ यू आपने कहा है कि आप इसमें प्रो हैं, आप मल्टीटास्क कर लेते हैं. 7 ऑफ यू सेड ओके कभी कभी. 2 ऑफ यू you're like, no, we're focused, we can only do one thing at a time. I am that person too. I can only do one thing at a time. Not much of a multitasker, although I do feel थोड़ा अच्छा होता अगर मल्टीटास्क कर पाते. so और आप में से 2 लोगों ने ये कहा है कि मेरा मन भटकने लगता है, which I think yeah, I can relate to as well. जब मैं एक काम भी कर रही हूँ, then also I'm just somewhere else. Okay, so with that we'll move on to our next word cloud. जॉनी डेप और एम्बर हर्ड के केस के फैसले पर आपके क्या विचार हैं? So this is the new the verdict has just come out. I want to ask you, what is your opinion on this case? What do you think about the verdict, or maybe about the case, or whatever your views are, just in general? And there's no judgment. Whatever you want to say, you can say. This is a safe space. Just remember to uphold the sanctity of this space. So कुछ ऐसे आंसर्स मत दीजिएगा जो प्लीजिंग नहीं हो. Okay, Amber is guilty. Good, didn't pay attention. That is okay. Many of you must have not followed the case, which is fine. Depp is guilty. Good one, guilty. Controversial, of course. Good decision. Viral तो बहुत हो गया. Yes, that's true. Justice, right decision. So I think a majority of you said kind of it's a right decision, although there are a few who say that it's not. It's kind of biased, but okay. Thank you so much for sharing your choices with us, for sharing your opinions with us. And with this, we'll move on to the first question of today's quiz. World Environment Day, जैसा कि मैंने कहा, कल है 5 जून को. So we've themed this quiz on environment and all things environment and climate change. तो चलते हैं हमारे आज के first question की तरफ. स्रोत पर प्रदूषण को कम करना या रोकना स्मॉग टावर्स स्थापित करने की तुलना में अधिक लागत प्रभावी है. यानी कि रिड्यूसिंग और प्रिवेंटिंग and controlling of pollution at source is more cost effective than installing smog towers. क्या ये सही है या गलत? कि अगर हम source पे ही pollution को रोक दें, तो that is more cost effective in comparison to installing smog towers. Okay, so 25 of you, I think this was a very easy one. 25 of you got this correct. और हमें होता है कि starting में थोड़ा सा, if we give you that easy question, so you'll also enjoy the game. Few are easy, few are a little tough. Not tough, but you know, you realize it with the question ki, हाँ, okay, this is the answer. So with this, 25 of you got this correct. 5 of you must be on the scoreboard. So it is scientifically true कि जो source पे हम अगर pollution को रोक दे, तो that is more cost effective than installing smog towers. And the government has taken several such actions where, source पे ही pollution को रोका जा सकता है या कम किया जा सकता है. For example, norms for fuel and vehicles since April 2020. E-vehicles की जो promotion है वो की जा रही है. Expansion of metro network for public transport in various cities and promotion of cleaner fuel. So with this, our scoreboard is in front of us. Parisha, Madan, Vinod, Ayush, and Kishore, you've made it to the scoreboard. Let's see who gets to the scoreboard in the next question, or you hold your place for double points. So let's see who gets this. इस राज्य केंद्र शासित प्रदेश में पिछले 3 वर्षों में बाघों यानी कि टाइगर्स के हमलों के कारण सबसे अधिक मानव मृत्यु हुई है. This state or UT reported the maximum number of human deaths due to tiger attacks in the last 3 years. तो हम last 3 years की बात कर रहे हैं और इस state या UT में जो human deaths हुई हैं because of tiger attacks that have been maximum. तो is it मध्य प्रदेश, पश्चिम बंगाल यानी कि वेस्ट बंगाल, महाराष्ट्र और उत्तर प्रदेश? Okay, so 6 of you got this correct, and the answer is Maharashtra. I see that 16 majority is chosen Madhya Pradesh. I think somewhere a bias testing. Maharashtra में about 56 deaths were reported. Uttar Pradesh 17. In fact, Madhya Pradesh and West Bengal reported the least number of deaths, which is around 7 each. So Maharashtra topped the chart with 56 human deaths due to tiger attacks. So with this scoreboard, okay, complete shift. We have Mayur, Shri, Amrita, Manoj, and Kartikeya. And with this, Shailesh is 12 places up, and he's the highest climber. So let's move on to our next question. भारत में औपचारिक वन प्रशिक्षण यानी कि फॉर्मल फॉरेस्ट्री ट्रेनिंग प्रदान नहीं की जाती है. क्या ये सही है या गलत? फॉर्मल फॉरेस्ट्री ट्रेनिंग इज नॉट प्रोवाइडेड इन इंडिया. ट्रू और फॉल्स? Okay, I think that's a okay. 18 of you got this correct, or this is actually false. India has formal forestry training, or forestry training is provided by both central and the state governments or union territory administrations. Few of the institutes are Indira Gandhi National Forest Academy, which is in Dehradun, Central Academy for State Forest Services, and Directorate of Forest Education. So there is formal forestry training that's provided in India. With this, हम चलते हैं अगले question की तरफ. और Mayur and Shri, I think you got this correct. Then we have Shailesh, Amrita, and Manoj. Let's go on to our next question, and then we'll quickly look at the scoreboard again. 2020 से 2021 तक बाघों यानी कि टाइगर की मौतों में कमी आई है. Is this true or false? क्या ये सही है या गलत? There has been a decrease in tiger deaths from 2020 to 2021. इस एक साल में टाइगर की जो डेथ्स हैं उनमें there has been a decrease. क्या ये सही है या गलत? Fourteen of you got this correct. This is false. 20 अगर हम डेटा देखें तो 2019 में there were 96 tiger deaths that were reported, 2020 में 106, और 2021 में there were 127 deaths. So it's actually increased, and I'm surprised why most of you didn't go with this, because I mean that's something I thought, because while I was looking at the data, I felt like, yeah, okay, this actually seems like it's kind of increased, so this should be okay. But I think you got hold on with the trick. So Let's move on to our next question. But before that, we have our scoreboard once again, which is slightly changed. Now we have Shri, who was on the second place and is now on the first position. Then we have Mayur, Neerav has just entered the scoreboard. Then Kartikeya too has entered the scoreboard. And Amrita, I think you're just losing your spaces. So buckle up and stay on the scoreboard. With this, Jitendra is the highest climber. Moving on to our next question. Double points for this one as well. उन उद्योगों यानी कि इंडस्ट्रीज की संख्या जिनके खिलाफ पर्यावरण मानकों यानी कि इन्वायरमेंटल स्टैंडर्ड्स का पालन ना करने पर कार्रवाई की गई. नंबर ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज अगेंस्ट व्हिच एक्शन इज टेकन फॉर नॉन कंप्लाइंग विद एनवायरमेंटल स्टैंडर्ड्स. तो कितनी इंडस्ट्रीज है हो सकती हैं ऐसी? इज इट 1028, 328, 2028 और 3028? जो टोटल नंबर ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज है, अगर आपको वो आइडिया होगा तो शायद मे बी यू नो दिस, बट इनमें से ऐसी कितनी इंडस्ट्रीज है जिनका लाइसेंस ले लिया गया, जिन्हें बंद करा दिया गया because they were not complying with environmental standards. So 8 of you got this correct. Okay, 12 of you, the majority went with the highest number, but this is not true. The correct answer is 328. If you look at the data, the total number of industries that are there are it's about 4,433, and out of these, number of industries that are operating at the moment is 3,758. So the rest, out of the difference of these, actually they've shut down by themselves. और जो ऑपरेट कर रही हैं, that is 3,758, उनमें से the ones which are complying with environmental standards are 3,430. So majority are obviously complying with environmental standards, but there are about these 328 who have been shut down because they were not complying with the environmental standards. So with this, we will look at the scoreboard once again. Okay, another new name on our scoreboard: Shinzu, Shailesh, Shri, Mayur, and Parisha. With this, Swati is the highest climber. I'm looking at new names every scoreboard. This is really exciting for me. I'm hoping that it's exciting for you as well. And even if it's not that exciting for you, the ones who are not just on the scoreboard right now, I'm still telling you, stay till the end. We have another quiz just right after this one. And that's going to be easier because Rashmi is, I don't know why, somehow my questions are somewhere tougher than hers. I don't know why, but yeah, that's true. So moving on to our next question. भारत ने 1850 और 2017 के बीच वैश्विक संचय यानी कि क्यूमुलेटिव ग्रीन हाउस गैस उत्सर्जन में लगभग 4% का योगदान दिया है. क्या ये सही है या गलत? India has contributed about 4% of the global cumulative greenhouse gas emissions between 1850 and 2017. 4% is what we're saying. 23 of you got this correct. Okay, here I was thinking you might go with false. You might go with galat, लेकिन आप में से ज़्यादा लोगों ने you went with the, you've got it correct, and which is true because the data tells us that India, with about more than 17% of global population, has contributed to about 4% of the global cumulative greenhouse emissions since 1850 till 2017. So the challenges which were faced due to global warming are mainly due to cumulative historical, जो मतलब पहले और अभी current emissions है, they are from developed countries rather than the developing countries. So the more emissions have actually been a cumulative of the developed countries. With this, our scoreboard, Shinzu has a streak of 4 correct answers, but I think Shinzu just went down 4 places. Now we have Shri, Mayur, Shailesh, and Shinzu and Parisha. So I think the same names, just a little shift here and there. Let's go on to the next one. 2019 से 2021 के बीच किस राज्य का वन क्षेत्र सबसे ज्यादा घट गया है? State with major forest cover loss. आपके ऑप्शंस है अरुणाचल प्रदेश, मेघालय, नागालैंड और मिजोरम. इन स्टेट्स में से कहां पर सबसे ज्यादा फॉरेस्ट कवर का लॉस हुआ है? Okay, 10 of you got this correct. Arunachal Pradesh is the correct answer. If I tell you कि कितना जो land कितना area है जो forest cover का lose हुआ है for Arunachal Pradesh, it's about 257 square kilometer. Manipur उसके बाद आता है जो options में नहीं है, but it's about 249 square kilometer, and then we have Nagaland at 235 square kilometer, Mizoram at 186, and Meghalaya at 73 square kilometer. Sorry. So the correct answer is Arunachal Pradesh, and 10 of you who got this correct are on the scoreboard. Mayur, Shinzu, Shri, Shailesh, and Amrita. I think the same people just going here and there on the scoreboard. Let's go on to our next question. We have about 3 more questions left, and then we'll quickly get into the English quiz, English game of facts. पृथ्वी की 70% भूमि मानव गतिविधि द्वारा बदल गई है. 70% of the Earth's land has been altered by human activity. क्या ये सही है या गलत? We're saying कि 70% जो 70% हमारी Earth का जो area है, that has been altered because of man-made activities or human activities. 23 of you correct. I want to know what the 10 of you thought. Was it less or more than this? Did you think that it was 70% or it was more than 70%? I mean, did you think that it was less than 70% or more than 70%? But this is true, and this is primarily because of expanding agriculture. जो agriculture की वजह से है सबसे ज्यादा जो हमारी जो पृथ्वी या हमारी धरती पर जो चेंज हुआ है, that is because of the agricultural activities. Okay, with this, our scoreboard. I think Vinod just entered the scoreboard, and with this, we'll move on to our next question. The next two questions are puzzle questions. You'll get 1 minute for each, और आपको correct order में उन्हें stack करना होगा. थोड़ा सा difficult लग सकता है, but take your time with these ones because not many people get it correct. So I hope that you get it correct this time. So here's our first puzzle question for double points because of that extra effort that you put in. प्रतिपूरक वनरोपण यानी कि कंपनसेटरी अफॉरेस्टेशन के अंतर्गत लगाए गए पौधों की संख्या के आधार पर इन्हें यानी कि ये जो राज्य या केंद्र शासित प्रदेश है उन्हें उच्च से निम्न में लगाएं. Rank these states and UTs from high to low on the basis of number of saplings planted under compensatory afforestation. आपके ऑप्शंस हैं असम, महाराष्ट्र, हरियाणा और दिल्ली. तो आपको इन्हें ऐसे रैंक करना है कि जहां पर आपको लगता है सबसे ज्यादा नंबर ऑफ सैपलिंग्स आर प्लांटेड अंडर द अफॉरेस्टेशन स्कीम, दैट विल कम ऑन टॉप, और so on and so forth. जहां पर सबसे कम वो सबसे एंड में आएगा. Last 3 seconds and then we'll look at the answer. Nobody got this one correct, but that's okay. What I want you to look at is that Assam is at the lowest, and once I'll tell you how many saplings were planted there, you'll come to know. So the correct order is Haryana, Maharashtra, Delhi, and Assam. Haryana, this is for the current year 2021 and 2022. Haryana में about 31,54,000 saplings were planted. Maharashtra 4,41,000. Delhi roughly 26,000, and Assam 0. So the correct order is Haryana, Maharashtra, Delhi, and Assam. None of you got this correct, but you have one more question left, और हो सकता है कि वो आपको सही आंसर मिल जाए उसका. तो चलते हैं नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन की तरफ. Scoreboard stays intact. If none of you get this one correct, these will be our winners. But let's see our last question. Double points again. बाघों की मौत यानी कि टाइगर डेथ्स के आधार पर इन राज्यों या केंद्र शासित प्रदेशों को उच्च से निम्न में लगाएं. Rank these states or UTs from high to low on the basis of tiger deaths, basis of number of tiger deaths. And your options are Karnataka, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh. This is the last question for this quiz. इसके बाद हम आपके साथ English game pin right away share करेंगे. So please stay till the end and play along. I'm just trying to keep reminding you again and again so that you don't lose on a very nice book that might come your way if you win it. Last 10 seconds. टाइगर डेथ्स के आधार पर इन राज्यों को उच्च से निम्न में रैंक करें: कर्नाटक, महाराष्ट्र, उत्तर प्रदेश, मध्य प्रदेश. Okay, here we go. Oh wow, 13 of you got this correct. Wow. This is great. I'm actually very surprised at that number. I mean, majority of you got this correct, which is amazing. So we have Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and then Uttar Pradesh. MP is at about 42 tiger deaths. Then Maharashtra at about 27 tiger deaths. Karnataka at 15 tiger deaths, and Uttar Pradesh at 9 tiger deaths. I'm actually excited to look at the scoreboard, to look at the podium after this, because this was a double points question and many of you got this correct. And it's really exciting to see that the last question is going to turn tables around. So let's have a look at our scoreboard, or have a look at our podium. Madan is on the 3rd position. Then we have Shri on 2nd position, and आज के quiz के winner हैं Mayur. Congratulations to all of you. The runners up are Neerav and Amrita. I think really well played. और इसी के साथ we'll just begin with our English quiz, but please share your details with us through the Google form, which is sent to you in the chat box, और अपना prize claim कर लीजिएगा within 24 hours, and we'll dispatch your books very soon. I hope that you enjoyed the game, and have a lovely weekend ahead, and please stay on for the English quiz. We'll just share the game pin with you. Rashmi, on to you.
So I'm super nervous because I really had of late a pretty bad spell of internet connections. I'm hoping this one goes off well.
Okay, I think there's some connectivity issue, but Rashmi is back again. We'll just, yeah.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm actually having a rather jinx over the last few weeks with my internet connection. So I'm really going to rush and start very quickly so that we don't lose the momentum. And I'll probably stop my camera, but I'll just keep talking, right? So I'm going to share my screen right now. And I hope you can see the game pin. It's 702-6617. Okay, so I'm told not to worry too much. Okay, this is going to be interesting. So while we just get started very quickly, the game pin 702-6617. Listen, if something happens, my internet connection fails, just hang in there. We'll figure a situation. We'll figure this out. All right. So just don't drop off. Just hang in there. We'll figure this out very quickly. I'm going to share my screen, and the game pin is 702-6617. I'm sharing my screen and I see Vishal has joined. Just in case something goes wrong, I have my backup. Meena will take care of everything. All right. So as usual, it's lovely to see new names. I'm sure more of you will join in. It's 702-6617. We'll keep putting that in the chat box so that you can join in very quickly. I'm going to give this a few minutes. Just on the book, A Village Awaits Doomsday, which has been written by Jaideep Hardikar. He's a journalist and he was with, he writes a lot for, I don't know if many of you I don't know if many of you are aware of Pari, which is, an organization run by P. Sainath. He writes a lot for that. There's another book of his that he's written called Ram Rao. It's about an Indian farmer and the challenges that they face. And this particular book really is all about different, it's like a collection of stories. I'm sorry, Rupesh was just asking me something. All right, so I think I can get started. I hope you can see the screen now. I hope you can see the screen, everyone. And I'll just wait for Rupesh to just give me the cue. And then I'll get started, yeah? Amrita, Sandhya, have been now. So taking care of this, Nina is going to be sharing the screen. So I hope this will take care of things. If you can just give it a minute. So sorry about this. Anyway, spoken about it. The Village Awaits Doomsday is written by Jaideep Hardikar, who's a journalist, and he's written extensively on issues that impact rural India. Ram Rao's earlier book was written about a farmer called Ram Rao, and he tracked his journey. This, of course, came much earlier, and this book is an anthology or a collection of stories he has sort of put together to give us a glimpse into the life of people who live, and farmers, who live in Okay, everyone, I can see Nirav, Dipankar, Soumya Brata, Shruti, Sandhya, Kartikeya, Amrita, Adit, Bhairavi, Shishi Maru, Kishore, Shri, Druhi, Vinod, Padmaja. Welcome, everyone. Dipankar, I've just been having this terrible bad luck as far as internet connection is concerned for a few weeks now. So we're trying to figure and sort and work with what we have. So the quiz that I've put together this week, I didn't want it to be focused more on environment, simply because we're going to have one of the India Pen journalists. She's a very bright reporter called Tanvi. She's going to be doing a quiz, by the way, in a week or two. So I thought, let's look at, world trade. A lot of things have changed thanks to 2020, a very special year when everything came to a grinding halt as far as world trade is concerned, and just wanted to take stock and understand how commodities are moving. And when I say commodities, I don't mean like big things. I'm not talking about iron and steel. I'm talking about things like headphones and footwear and cheese and pasta and things that, we use in everyday life. So it's going to be a fun quiz. When I say world trade and I say commodities, it's really not, by the end of it, you'll know that, okay, this is commodities and this is an interesting world. All right, so we'll start now as usual with the poll questions. And hope, fingers crossed, everything goes well with this one. So I have 3 poll questions for you, and it's all kind of linked to globalization and how we are such a connected world. We're not sort of isolated anymore, and a lot of us have been through liberalization. So I just want to get a sense of what it means to you. So we'll go with the first question. And what we're asking you is, what does globalization mean to you? Does it mean access to new technologies? So does it mean, the coming in of the McDonald's and the KFCs, or more choices of cars and motorcycles, or unnecessary exposures and influences? So it's really more to do with the access to newer technologies. And then, of course, because, in India, you always had the choice of just 2 cars, an Ambassador or a Premier Padmini, and then suddenly you had all these Korean brands and Japanese and German brands, and very exciting. And of course, yes, there is also the exposures and the consequences of liberalization or globalization that come with it. But anyway, we'll go to the next one now. These are just no marks for this one. If you had a choice, would you prefer, just to be closed within India, or be part of a truly globally integrated world, or sealed borders, monitor influences that are coming into the country, or not as closed as a North Korea, but not as open as in America? So clearly we're aspirational, as we ought to be. And we do believe that today, I think borders have become so porous. Technology has really made everything sort of so ubiquitous and so continuous that it's, I think, very foolish on our side to think that it's, just we can be isolated any longer. And yes, I think a balance of not as closed as North Korea, but not as open as the United States as well, is what most of you would prefer. All right. Now, a word cloud in the next one. And you'll always do such a great job, but we're asking you, any international brand, company, star, musician, sports person, writer, person that you admire, something which is out of your comfort zone, that we're asking that you like and you really appreciate, and you're grateful to a great extent to globalization or liberalization that you got closer or got access to that particular brand or writer or what have you. Okay, it's so wonderful. There's such lovely things are coming up. David Attenborough, he's truly an international treasure. Taylor Swift and Roger Federer, Google, yes. Emma Watson, Rihanna, Birkenstock, absolutely. I hear you. Serena Williams, Apple, definitely. Tesla. Okay, right. I get it. Sometimes we throw these questions at you and don't even give you any time. All right. BTS, definitely. All right. So with this, we get into the quiz. Like I said, it's about world trade, but it's a fun one. So just sit back, relax, and just enjoy. By the end of this, I think you're going to walk away with some very interesting views on commodities that, a country's import and export. All right, so here we get started. We have the first question coming up. Between March and April of 2020, the US car market was obviously hit by the pandemic and car exports shrank. We're asking you whether it shrank by 2.3 billion US dollars, 11.3 billion US dollars, 8.3 billion US dollars, or 5.3 billion US dollars. So the 10 of you that went for the highest number, which is 11.3 billion US dollars, you got it right. Clearly, in the US, and car manufacturing has been sort of a mainstay of the US, but this all sort of, turned upside down when the pandemic hit. Okay, we'll go to the next, or rather we'll go to the scoreboard and then we'll see the next question. So it's Madan, Shri, Adit, Udit. Hi Udit, Kartikeya, and we know it's a very dynamic scoreboard. So on to the next question. Double points for this one. This country is the largest exporter of vanilla. Is it Madagascar, France, India, or Indonesia? We know this is a very, very popular element of perfumes, foods, etc. And it is also one of the most expensive spices. Okay, so 22 of you are correct. It is tiny little Madagascar, which is lost somewhere at the tail end of Africa, which is the largest provider and exporter of vanilla. And then we have France that comes next. All right, we'll take a look at the scoreboard. 6 of you said India. Yes, India does produce some vanilla, but not at that scale. So we have Madan, Shri, Akhil, Abhishek, and Kartikeya. And we'll get into the next question. The top exporter of beer in the world is, and you get double points if you know this, is it Germany, United States, Australia, or Mexico? So just so you know, 12 of you got this right. 8 said Germany, and I would have gone, by the way, for Germany because Oktoberfest is so popular, but nearly $5 billion, well, it's $4.89 billion is what Mexico earns for export of its beer. And then you have Belgium, you have Netherlands, and Germany somewhere at 1.28 billion US dollars. All right, the scoreboard. And now it's Akhil, Abhishek, Padmaja, Sandhya, and Shruti. And we'll get to the next question. We have a ton of questions for this quiz. So yeah, there's enough to go around. This country is a leading exporter of butter. Is it France, New Zealand, Denmark, or Ireland? We're talking about butter. These are all, by the way, very important commodities, and billions of dollars of exports and imports happen. Well, 21 of you said New Zealand, but that's wrong. 3 of you said tiny little Ireland, and you are right. In fact, Ireland earns about 1.07 billion US dollars in export of butter. And then we have New Zealand, which is at 1.02. So you weren't too far away, but Ireland definitely is the leader. And then France, interestingly, is the largest importer of butter. So some very interesting things. All right, so we'll take a look at the scoreboard. And it's now, okay, I think that's Pratham, but it's Shetty, Akhil, Kartikeya, Abhishek, and Padmaja. The next question. See, this is going pretty fast, actually. A true or false and double points for this one. Singapore is among the top 5 importers and exporters of whiskies. So just to be on the right side, safe side, we said whiskies. Is this statement true or is it false? It actually is true. So there's something very interesting happening. And I wonder if anybody in the group is aware of this. I'm very curious to know. I was quite fascinated with the fact that, you know, it is it's the 3rd largest importer of whiskies and the 4th largest exporter of whiskies too. I would have thought many other countries, not really Singapore, but that was fascinating for me. So we'll take a look at the scoreboard because we have lots of questions to get by. And it is now Shetty, Abhishek, Padmaja, Vinod, and Akhil. Right. So Dipankar says it is a port city, so there's probably not consumption as much as a transit. And of course, it is a very significant trade hub as well. So, all right. Thank you, Dipankar, for that. The next question. True or false for this one? India is the largest importer and exporter of diamonds. Is this statement true or false? We're talking about diamonds here. And it is true. So India clearly has the lead as far as diamonds are concerned, whether it is export or import. And when we talk about export, clearly Belgium comes after India, but there is still quite a bit of gap. And then you have the United Arab Emirates, and then we have the US and Israel. And among the importers, again, India is in the lead, and then you have the US, Hong Kong, and the UAE, and Belgium, actually. All right, so we'll take it to the scoreboard. And I think there's a bit of a tumble. It's now, okay, so we have Pratham, I think, Abhishek, Padmaja, Kartikeya, Dipankar. Nice to see the scoreboard. All right. And Udit is somewhere there figuring his way out, and suddenly he'll just shoot up right at the end. All right. We'll go to the next question now. Double points for this one. The world's leading exporter of chocolates is the United States of America, Belgium, Switzerland, or Germany? Okay, so 14 of, you know, no surprises there. I would have gone for Belgium as well. But surprise, surprise, 6 of you got it right, and it is Germany. I would have never guessed that. And chocolates earn about 4.98 billion US dollars for Germany, and they are the top exporters of chocolates to the world. Okay, we'll take a look at the scoreboard. And there's a bit of a change. It's now Shetty, Abhishek, Abhilash, Shailesh, and Amrita. So Amrita got in a little late and she was like, oh my gosh, I hope I'm not too late. And no, you did pretty good, right? Okay, next question. This country is the world's top exporter of cheese. So we've covered butter, we've covered chocolates, and now we're on to cheese. New Zealand, Sweden, France, or Italy? Interesting. A lot of us thought it was Sweden, but it is in fact good old Italy. So we're talking about all the different kinds of cheeses. We're talking about the grated, we're talking about the powdered, we're talking about the actual, all the cheeses cumulative. Italy still in the lead with $511 million US in export. Okay, the scoreboard, and then we have a few more questions left. So Shetty, Abhishek, Amrita, Abhilash, and Shailesh. Things are going to turn, by the way. So the next question, and double points for this one. The world's leading exporter of electricity is the United States of America, Germany, France, or Sweden? This is surplus electricity which they give to other countries. Okay, so clearly y'all were on to something, because I think while it was fairly equal, I think Germany got a few extra, but Germany earns about 3.87 billion US dollars in as revenue for exporting electricity. And then you have France that's not doing too well. I was very surprised to see Laos on the list. And then we have Canada. And Canada supplies practically all of its electricity to the United States. Okay, so we get into the scoreboard. And it's now Abhishek, Amrita, Shetty, Shri, and Abhilash. And we'll get into the next question. Double points for this question. The leading exporter of sunglasses is Italy, France, United States, or China? We've done chocolates, cheese, name it, electricity also, and now we're talking about sunglasses, if you will. Okay, so clearly it was between China and Italy. Italy still has the lead, and about 2.05 billion US dollars of sunglasses are exported from Italy. China's 1.48 billion, and of course, the US is the largest importer of sunglasses. Okay, so we'll take a look at the scoreboard. It's very interesting to see who's manufacturing or exporting and who's consuming. So it's Amrita, Shetty, Abhishek, Soumya Brata, and Shruti. And we'll get into the next question. We still have a couple more. Double points for this one. Germany is the #1 exporter and importer of electric batteries, dog and cat food, semiconductors, or instant cameras. Which is your pick? We're talking specifically for the year 2020 and thereon. Nothing really has changed since then. And thank you, Ishashri, for that very interesting fact on sunglasses. So 6 of you that went for dog food. So interestingly, and I was super fascinated by this. So in 2020, it was a very lonely time, and a lot of people got dogs and cats, right? They got their pets. And what did this mean? So suddenly the dog and the cat retail food segment grew by 15%. It was really something that I don't think most people had anticipated. So Germany now exports 2.17 billion US dollars of dog and cat food. And actually it also imports $1.83 billion worth of dog and cat food. So it's kind of interesting to see that really this is the epicenter of dog and cat food, especially those of you in the group who like pets. All right, we'll take a look at the scoreboard and then we have another question coming up. It's Shetty, Soumya Brata, Amrita, Abhishek and Shruti. And we'll get into the last question. Remember, it's never over till it's over. So the next question. This one's a bit of a mind-boggling one, and we've given you double points for this. This country is the world's leading exporter of radioactive chemicals. We know these chemicals come in handy for nuclear medicine, nuclear science. Is it Russia, Kazakhstan, Japan, or Ukraine? Thirteen of you got it absolutely right. It is Kazakhstan. So I think something has happened on the scoreboard. I'm super excited to know. So we'll quickly take a look at the final podium and see what that looks like. So Amrita's in the third spot, followed by Soumya Brata in the second spot. And in the first position is Shetty. So, and of course, Abhishek and Shruti didn't do too bad either. I'm sorry, this is just for the top three. But we try and give as many opportunities for all of you to get a book or two every now and then. So the three of you will get A Village Awaits Doomsday. Well done, everyone. I was stumped by this quiz when I was putting the questions together as well. And thank you all for joining us. We'll be back again next Saturday, 5 p.m. And I really